and Charlotte is more over as the heel, which, all in all, hard to disagree with, but at the same time, you could still have Sasha play some kind of factor in there. But for Sasha, what happens to her? She's going into a feud with Nia Jax, which I'm okay with. And I think the way that they set it up this past Monday definitely really piques my interest a bit. I don't know. What do you think about Sasha versus Nia?
Personally, I friggin' love Nia Jax. And I'm down for this match. I think that could be pretty good. I mean, will it be as good as either of the Iron Maiden matches? Probably not.
No.
Admittedly. But just because it's not an A plus doesn't mean it's not, say, an A minus. I still think it's worth watching.
Yeah, I definitely do agree with that. And the whole thing when they had Bayley come out, interrupt, and set up the matchup between Bayley and Charlotte. Well, here's something that actually somebody really pointed out, that before the matchup even commenced, Bayley mentioned the fact that she beat Charlotte twice on Raw, and then Charlotte said those two didn't count it. They didn't mean anything. What? I mean, I understand, wins and losses don't matter in WWE, obviously, but it's kind of hard to deny that Bayley has had Charlotte's number, in a way. I mean...
only a little bit. Only a little bit. And, I mean, personally, I've always been one of those people that are like, well, because I've heard so many people in regards to what you're talking about here actually, like, seriously go, well, the wins and losses, they don't matter. I'm like, if the wins and losses don't matter, then why do you care when the guy you hate wins?
Yeah, it's kind of one of those weird things where when Charlotte said it, I'm kind of like, huh? It kind of left me a little bit confused, but all in all, I guess it really does show her heel skills quite a bit. I got to make a mention of this because it's kind of funny. When I say kind of funny, I mean flat out hilarious. So there was an 8-man tag team match that was set up, which was the New Day and Cesaro taking on the team of Gallows and Anderson, as well as the Shining who gives a who gives a crap, yeah. So, before that happened, the New Day came out, cut a promo about mentioning the fact that, we wouldn't be the tag team champions, we wouldn't be as good as we would if we suffered a few losses every now and then. They make a little side note about Ric Flair would not be a 16-time world champion had he not lost, 15 times. And Big E makes a comment about Charlotte doing that in about a month, which apparently that joke got edited out of the original Raw, especially on YouTube. They've really tried to cut that out because apparently that was kind of an improvised line by Big E, which I guess was kind of like a small shot taken to WWE Creative, I guess, saying, well, I guess you can't make up your minds about, who's going to hold on to the belt, so I guess Charlotte's going to be 16-time women's champion by, next year, maybe even after a month, which is it is a bit harsh, but at the same time, with the way that they flip-flopped the title, it was kind of easy to kind of make the connection there. But all in all, again, shows the funniness and the just pure talent that the frickin' New Day are. And well, not only that, we also got to see new Raw Tag Team title belts with a red strap and gold plates. At first, I was kind of like, is this just kind of a ripoff of what they did on SmackDown? But now they're starting to kind of grow on me. What were your initial thoughts when you saw those new tag team belts for Raw?
I don't know, maybe it's the design itself, I don't know what's going on there, but something about it just works for me. On top of that, I I kind of feel like it's them finally getting that on board with the whole brand extension thing. And just in general, they've been saying they're the WWE World Tag Team Champions forever and a day now, even though those belts have been the Raw Tag Team Championships for a couple months now. So I guess they didn't want to drop that gimmick from, the New Day saying they're the World Tag Team, et cetera, et cetera. So they, put them on a new team, introduce the new belts, makes good sense, and yeah, I'm all over it. I think it's a good idea. I think it's a good design, and I think it's good timing.
Well, I think the only issue that I had with it was that it was, again, going back to what they were doing with the Universal title and the WWE title. They have, the Raw Universal title going into a red strap, and it basically looked like the world title. And they kind of did the same thing with the SmackDown Women's title and then the SmackDown Tag Team titles and blah, blah, blah. It's like, is there no creativity going on here? I mean, back in 2002, 2003, you had the WWE Tag Team titles and the World Tag Team titles, and they looked completely different, and they looked awesome. But now we're resorting down to just flat-out copywriting everything, really. I understand, that when we saw the women's title at WrestleMania, we made a lot of comparisons about, having the white strap of the Intercontinental title, the red behind of the U.S. title, and make it look like the world title, having all this kind of prestige. But when they're just repeating that, it just seems like they're not even trying. It's like they're just taking like the poor man's easy way out. I just don't understand. It just...
Oh, no, I feel you.
It just bothers me.
But they are kind of just the same thing, aren't they?
Yeah. Vince, just start being more creative and don't just copy every single thing that you see. We don't need tag team titles that were copy and pasted off of the same thing. So.
Now, legit question about it, though.
Okay.
If they had done something different, like a new faceplate, let's say, or maybe even gone back to the old design of the World Tag Team belts, but just had the red Raw strap, would that have been better?
Yes, I think that would have been better because you would have brought in something at least a little bit more classic. Because when Cody Rhodes was the Intercontinental Champion and he brought back the classic title with the white strap and everything, people were just going bonkers and bananas over that. And they were just like, I want that belt again. I want that belt again. It's awesome. So I think that, old school is cool, especially in the world of wrestling. And it really kind of helps the older generation to kind of teach their kids or teach their grandkids or teach others that, hey, this is something that we were, fond of for so long. This is something that we grew up on, and just to have that, that kind of lineage continue on would have been amazing. I don't know. I'm just a random fan. What do I know?
More than creative.
But, yeah, Raw was more about like promo after promo after promo. It just, not really too many matches that really kind of stood out. It's really, yeah, we're just going to move on from that. And even Brian Zane from Wrestling with Regret mentioned the fact that Raw was just, had some moments that was kind of cool, but other than that, it was just like the wrestling wise was just meh. So let's go on to a color that you and I have been very fond of, and that's a Rogue One reference. For those of you that did not see the review for Rogue One as well as Assassin's Creed, go check it out. And send me, no, I'm not pulling an Mbombier and saying, send me presents, because it's like, no. Everybody else, you go spend your money elsewhere. I'm not worth that much. So let's go to SmackDown. Quite a bit actually happened to the show. First and foremost, James Ellsworth is dead. By God, the man's got a family. The family's got more chins than him, but he's still got a family, damn it.
He might have had a family, but now they've got an obituary to write.
Oh! Jeez Louise, that was just a massacre. But finally, it's over. The whole James Ellsworth gets another world title shot is over, and in like dominating fashion. Didn't even get a Styles Clash. Didn't even get a maneuver. It only got like one move in, and that was like a couple chops, and then the backhand. That was it. And then AJ Styles just decided to kill James Ellsworth, which, to me, I say, AJ Styles, you're one of the greatest men who have ever lived. Sorry, Austin Aries, but AJ Styles just did that, so. And now we have a very interesting aspect because the main event set for SmackDown was Dolph Ziggler versus Baron Corbin, and the winner would go on to face AJ Styles for the title next week on the SmackDown Live, final SmackDown Live of the year. Very interesting way to set things up, and honestly, the setup was pretty good. And there, of course, there are a lot of people that didn't like the idea of seeing Dolph Ziggler versus Baron Corbin again, because we had to go through that. I don't know if I would say freshly made hell or just atrocious atrocity a while back, but all in all, I think the build-up and the match itself was good. The ending was kind of like meh, but then of course we had Daniel Bryan come out and say that it would be a triple threat match. Yes, he forgot the R in threats, so it would be Baron Corbin versus Dolph Ziggler versus AJ Styles for the WWE Championship next week on SmackDown Live. Are you as about excited for this matchup as I am?
I don't think it's possible for me to be more excited for it. I literally, when I watch, because I wound up watching this, probably about an hour after it initially aired, and I'm just sitting there watching it, and I'm just like, yes, now, give it now, and I just started shouting at the TV. Just shouting, now, do it now, over and over again. So yeah, I'm a little excited. Tiny, extremely large bits of excitement.
Well, at least we know that one bearded general manager knows what to do, while the other one doesn't know too much because writing doesn't know how to do him any justice at all. So, thank you, Daniel Bryan, Mick Foley. I'm sorry for you. I really am. It's just bad. Anyway, moving on to an Intercontinental title matchup in which we see The Miz retaining over Apollo Crews, but then we get into a post-match interview with Renee Young and The Miz. Renee goes on mentioning the fact that, hey, you've been having this kind of a session with Dean Ambrose, and it seemed to cost you the Fatal 4-Way matchup last week. And then Miz brought up, and I quote, so let's talk about your obsession with Dean Ambrose. I mean, you are sleeping with him anyway. And then Renee responds with the slap. Now, on Talking Smack, she does apologize about doing that and knowing that, Miz was being unprofessional, she was being unprofessional. And then Daniel Bryan just says, you don't have to be sorry. And that's it. It's like, oh, well, that was easy. So Renee Young gets off the hook. Love it, and for good reason. Is this building up to a possible... I don't want to say matchup between Renee Young and Maurice, but it's kind of one of those things, like, if they're getting Renee Young involved in this storyline between Dean Ambrose and The Miz, you got to think she's going to be some kind of factor in this.
I would think so. I think she'd almost have to be on some level. Like, maybe she'll be, I don't know, maybe she'll be in his corner or something. I mean, I could see him doing that.
Yeah, it's one of those things it's like, well, are we going to have a match payoff here? Like, it probably wouldn't even be like a long, 30-minute matchup. No. I say like maybe a minute at most, in which maybe Renee beats Maurice with like a schoolgirl or something like that. Or, I don't know. It's a very interesting change in the pace of the whole Miz versus Dean storyline. But all in all, I think it's kind of great to see somebody, slap the taste out of the Miz's mouth. So, very cool to see that. I mean, we've mentioned the fact that I'm not very high on the Miz, but I am willing to admit that he has indeed gotten better this year. So, I'm at least willing to give him that. But seeing that moment with Renee Young just slapping Miz is just like, oh, well, somebody had the gumption to finally do it, and it wasn't a dude. So, good to know that Miz is not a big babe magnet as he thought he was. Yes, I'm going back to his old gimmick. So